Can't do content before I have my lipstick ready.
Today I'm here to talk about what is digital marketing and why is it so important for your brand. And the irony of you finding this video on a digital marketing platform is not lost on me, but you might still be curious what all these various marketing tactics are and how and why your brand should be using them. So I'm going to talk about the breadth of digital marketing. And what we mean when we say digital marketing is essentially all of the tactics, tools, communication channels that reach your target audience using digital or web-based media. So what's not digital marketing is almost easier to define. It's offline, newspapers, magazines that show up at your house, billboards on the side of the road, not to be confused with those digital billboards that you now see, which we're going to get to. Some other traditional forms of marketing that don't fall into digital might be flyering, leaving door knockers on people's doors, direct mail, aka junk mail. Just kidding. Direct mail is a great tactic. These are all non-digital methods of reaching your target audience. What digital does is puts those same kind of marketing messages and look and feel, design, calls to action to your audience using digital means. And spoiler alert, we're going to come back to this again and again, good marketing is marrying all of those tactics together. So it's not just picking one digital or one offline and calling that a marketing strategy, but it's really integrating all these different types of tools into your marketing approach. Why is it important to do digital marketing? The only reason is that's where your audience is. That's the most important reason. So marketing, picking where you should spend your marketing time and dollars and creativity, it really is about identifying where is your target audience. And that comes up in almost every video we do. Talking about marketing strategy is knowing who is your audience, who is most likely to pay for what you are offering. And in the nonprofit space, it's who is most likely to volunteer or give dollars to the cause which you are representing. So knowing where your audience is the key here. And if you don't know who your audience is, I want you to stop, bookmark this, and come back to it, but check out some of our other content on finding and identifying who your target audience is. So many of the components of digital marketing that we're going to talk about today are using your website to reach your target audience, using paid advertising. So that could be search ads through like Google or display ads, which are those ads that just seem to follow you all over the internet. You don't know how or why. Paid social media, organic social media, it's digital marketing, even if you're not paying for it. Email marketing, collecting lists and sending out to multiple people. Blogging is another tactic that's digital. And then partnering with like digital news sources for distribution. And I mentioned earlier, like those digital display advertising, digital billboards, if you will. Although those are a little bit of a special category because while they might show up digitally, often those don't have the same kind of neat tracking information that you can get out of other digital tactics. So how does digital marketing work? And the mark of really good digital marketing is that there's all this tracking that you can employ. And I don't mean tracking like I know you watched this and now you're going to hear from me all the time. Although that's a little bit of it, and that's like the magic of website cookies. But what I mean more is the kind of data as a marketer that I can get back on this is how many people responded to my message. They viewed it, they clicked it, they followed links that I've embedded within the marketing. Maybe I've put a QR code on something, which is one of those nice ways of interfacing between print or offline marketing and creating a digital marketing component is by incorporating something like a QR code where now we can start tracking how many people interact with our messaging. So that tracking information is really important to me as a marketer because it lets me know how my messaging is resonating. Am I getting the kind of response that I would expect in comparison to the other industries that are doing this? Am I overperforming? I might want to do more marketing around that same kind of messaging or creative. It allows me to also test often what we call A/B testing, which is testing a single variable in one piece of content over another. It might be a headline, it might be the graphic, it might be the layout. You can test all sorts of ways, but it allows you to really understand if your great idea is so great in the eyes of your target audience. So that's why digital is so powerful. It's where your audience is, but it also provides this wonderful source of feedback that you cannot get from a print magazine ad. And again, while we deploy print magazine ads for many clients, and it can be a great part of your overall strategy, an ad in and of itself, even though you're asking people to call or visit your website, maybe you even do put a QR code in there, you really can't measure how many people looked at your content, how many people reacted to it, whether or not it was good in relation to other content that you're putting out there. You just won't get that type of data feedback from a print the way you could get from the activities that you do digitally. So it really does lend and make that case for always incorporating digital components in your offline activities, but then also making sure that your digital ads are replicating what you're doing offline. So what does digital marketing cost? We know that it is often more cost effective than some non-digital tactics in comparison, but what it costs for each and every tactic is a huge it depends. And if it was simpler than that, then every agency would have a nice little price list for you on what all these tactics would be. But so much of it is not so much what do these tactics cost, but it is what is the spend that you need in your business to meet your goals, in your timeline, your audience, because it isn't one for one across industries or localities or types of ads or types of marketing. So it really is a strategy-based decision on what types of resources need to go in. Now that said, there's some broad rules of thumb for what digital marketing should cost you. In the paid ad space, we typically are talking about a minimum spend of $20 a day on any given platform. Not all platforms are that affordable. So we help you figure out which of those platforms are going to give you the most money, the most return on your money. And that's just the direct fee that you're paying for your advertising. So on top of that, you have your team's time, you have agency time on establishing campaigns, managing campaigns. So, you're looking at in a paid situation of being in the many hundreds of dollars a month at a minimum to be able to get enough traction in a campaign to move the needle for your business. Now, those can be optimized after they're running for a period of weeks, but we typically look at campaigns as being a minimum of a 6-week sprint. Sometimes we go many months in campaigns with assessing performance and optimizing for ROI. But then other parts of your digital marketing investment will be a little bit easier to predict and a little bit more fixed. So if you're doing search engine optimization as one of your ongoing tactics, once you've fully optimized your website on the front end, which, could be in the low thousands or under 2,000 even, depending on the size of your site, to get it fully optimized ongoing, it could be anywhere from a couple $100s to many thousands of dollars, depending on what type of search engine optimization you want to invest in. So you can do a lot of time and money into paying an agency or your internal staff to be link building back to your website, or blogging and optimizing new content, or getting yourself listed in online directories and things like that. Or maybe you're just doing a reporting service to guide you on ongoing keyword placement and helping you on your content strategy. So that's all. The affordability really is there for clients. And so we pick the intervention and the investment that makes the most sense for that client. So doing social media, it's free. Nothing's free in business because you have either staff or an agency spending time doing this. But then to really perform well in the social media landscape, we almost always recommend putting some level of promoted budget behind it, because organic reach is somewhat minimal for just generic posts you want to promote on social to build an audience. And then on top of it, you can do paid as well. Just like doing search ads and display ads elsewhere, social media platforms are a rich place for affordable, cost-effective campaigns to promote. Doing your Google business profile is actually free if you manage it in-house, or it's a low barrier way of having a very powerful digital presence in your marketing arsenal, and is the first place we recommend that people spend their resources, meaning their time, because again, there's no direct Google to have that set up. In a medium that allows you to really test performance, to implement for our clients across all the various tactics and strategies that we talked about in terms of digital marketing. You will definitely have agencies whose niche is going to be one area or another. Some might only do paid advertising, and they call themselves a digital marketing agency. And they're very niched into running campaigns, and they use a lot of technology to do that. Then you have folks on the other end of the spectrum, maybe closer to our agency, where we're full service. So we staff and we partner with experts to deliver all of the tactics online and digital brand building and strategy and messaging. And we come at it from more of a consultancy, strategic lens. We're not just experts in a particular tactical implementation. And then you certainly have agencies that are a mix. They might lean into website design and development, but they offer social media or paid advertising. But we all have access to the same digital tools. And I think that's important to remember that digital marketing, there is no secret button that we subscribe to on behalf of our clients. To do it is using brain power, it's using communication skills with you as the client. You really need to find an agency that you connect with, because no amount of outsourcing is set it and forget it. You as the client, you as the brand that we are representing, really not just deserve a seat at the table, but it's imperative that you know what's happening in your marketing to be most effective. So you want to find someone who's going to be responsive to your communication style, who is going to respect your brand and your needs for information, and to develop a cadence that is professional and works for everybody at the table. So I always recommend that clients consider interviewing at least 2-3 agencies before selecting your partner. A good agency is never going to be as good in month one as they are once they've really integrated their brand over the course of the first 3 months and started optimizing your campaigns and improving upon your brand execution. So you really want to go into a relationship with your new agency eyes wide open, but also with the understanding that it isn't that special magic button. You don't turn it on day one. It is a relationship that needs to develop and grow, and that optimization and performance is going to happen the longer you can build that partnership. So go into it with some longevity in mind. So do your due diligence on the front end so that you have the trust into the relationship to allow that longevity to really play out into your benefit. So just a few things that you should really expect from your agency, regardless of their niche or area of expertise. You should expect monthly reporting that you understand. It feels almost like malpractice. Some of the clients that we now work with share with us the reporting that they were receiving from some agencies that was useless, to be frank. So the report should not just be simply numbers. There should be some level of, so what did we see in our own words, and what is that going to do for us? How are we going to interpret that? And what are we going to do differently for you, the client? So I think understanding what they're reporting on is really important. And you should be able to ask for samples of reports that they can show you so you know what kind of communication you're going to be receiving. You should expect from your agency to take time to answer your questions, both before they hire them, and then even after. Establish and have clear guidelines on what to expect, how often and how quickly should your emails be responded to. Is there going to be a set cadence on meetings and those sorts of things? There should be no ambiguity about what you're getting in your agreement with your agency. You should also expect your agency to be leading you on marketing, meaning you're your brand's best expert, you know your business, but your agency knows the marketing. And so they should be asking you questions to better understand your brand. They should be bringing new marketing ideas to you. They should not be hearing about trends. Not that you can't have ideas, but your agency really should be demonstrating leadership in bringing your brand along in the marketing fold. And I think expectation setting is the other big thing that you should expect from your agency. I think be wary of people promising you, and I think we all get these emails every single day promising us 1,000 new leads or so many appointments booked, and anything that's truly promising that type of return, highly suspicious. Not that it, for certain commodities, maybe there's some demonstrated ROI on brand new campaigns, but I think expectation setting is about a realistic conversation. And because so much of what to expect is based on all of the variables that are going to be unique to you as a business, it becomes a very difficult thing to have a pat answer for. And so I think when there's promises of specific data returns, when they don't have all of your information, that's again a little bit suspicious. But really having your agency set expectations, then make sure that they're meeting them or exceeding them, is really important for you as a business wanting to see success and ROI on your investment. But again, your agency should be leading those conversations. So just to wrap this up, do you need digital marketing? Yes, you do. The big question, the $1 million question is, what do you need for your business? That is going to be a variety of tactics. It's going to take your budget. It's going to take time to figure out with your budget what are the best mix of tactics and investments from a personnel time perspective as well as your dollars to move you further towards your goals and beyond. But digital marketing, when ignored, it's a miss. You're missing your audience. You're missing opportunity for brand expansion, for brand awareness, for lead generation. There's a lot of good that can come from it. So if you're not exploring all the various tactics that I talked about today, might I suggest talking to a digital marketing agency near you.